connection. So I say that we can have many exit points. Okay, so let's have a look. So what is the rules? Because we have the rules number one. What is the rules number one? We say the rules number one is rules. The rule number one is you need to return something always. Rule number two. Let's see the rules number two. Okay, so the rule number two is when you return something, you can have many exit points. Right here we have how many exit points? 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 ways to exit from the function. Right. What is the rules? The rules is the type here, the type of your return here and here and here must be the same. So what is the return? What is the type here? So let's say that if you have an input here, you have a parameters, and we can say that n is a integer. If I have an integer here as parameter for n1 and n2. So if n1 is integer, n2 is integer, what is the return here? It's integer because n1 is integer, right? So here we have integer. Let's say that here we have return plus 1. So return plus 1 is integer. So it's still integer, so it's good, right? Because we need to have the same type. And here, if we have n2, it's still an integer, so it's still good. So here it's okay. But let's have a look here. In this function here, we have on this first return, we have integer. On the second return, we have n1 greater than 1, so it's not integer, it's Boolean, right? So here we have an issue, it's not very clear. Because here you return integer and here you return Boolean. So let me explain you why it's not good. I will explain you why it's not good to have different types of return on your exit points. So I will write this function on Python and we will check this code. So I write the code on Python on my code. So this is my function. This is my function to compute something. If n is equal to 2, then I return n1. Then else I return n1 greater than 1. So I want to test result equal compute of 10 and 10. What is the result? So I will print this. Print compute 10, 10. Then I will print compute 10, 12. And let's execute and let's see what's happened. All right, it's compute. All right, compute. Compute is compute. And value character in identifier. Compute. I don't know why they say this. All right. So I execute again. So here we have first line n1 equal n2. So we return n1. So we return 10. Then line 2, what we have? n1 is not equal than of n2. So we return n1 greater than 1, and it's true, so we print true. So why it's not good? It works, but it's not good. Look here, compute. If I'm expecting an integer, I will say compute, for example, plus 1. Right. And here I'm expecting as well integer. So I will say result my result of compute plus 1 because I'm expecting an integer. But what's happened? What's wrong? Oh, but Python will convert the Boolean. So, okay, I will not go in details, but I say it's the bad habit, just to be clear, it's a bad habit to mix types, right? It's a bad habit. You should not mix your types of return. The function should return always the same type. Even if you have different returns, you should have the same times always. So let's sum up the rules because we have learned 5 rules. I will sum up the 5 rules. What are the 5 rules? Rule 1, the function must have at least 1 parameter. This is the rules number 1. I don't want you to, from now, we will create, so for now we will create only functions with at least 1 parameter. So example, this function, right? This is a correct function. Right? I don't want you to create a function with no parameter for now, right? This function we will not accept for now. I want function with always 1 parameter and 1, and you can have many parameters and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on, right? But at least 1 parameter for the function. All right, so that's the rules number 1, at least 1 parameter. Rules number 2, you always have to return something. So here I'm returning something, right? If you don't return something, it's not a valid function. A function can have many exit points, we say, right? Remember, we have many exit points. But what is important to know is each exit point should be the same type. All right. And the last thing is when you define my function, so I will say Ronan function. All right. So if I want to call the function before definition, what's happened? If I will, here I want to say result equal Ronan function, let's say n1, Ronan function of n1. So I will say 12. So what's happened here? What is wrong? They said, what they said here? They said function Ronan is not defined, right? So Ronan function has to be defined before the code. So to say it in short, we can say that, as we say, all right, the function definition must be writing before the function code. Right. So instead of this, I will move these lines to be after the code. So for now, you can say that you have to put all your functions on the top of your program, and then you can call it. And now if I call this, my function here, let me clear, I call it. Yeah, but I don't print anything. So I will print result to check the result. What is the result here? It's 16. Again, if I put my definition after my code, what's happened? Happens that I have errors in the program because function Ronan is not defined. Right? So again, I give you this code. If you type this, the errors is errors. You have errors. The errors is function is not defined. So function definition should be before function calls. All right. That's the rules number 5. So rules number 1, function should be at least 1 parameter. Number 2, you should return something. Then you can have many exit points, right? But all exit points should have the same type. And function definition should be writing before the code. That's the 5 rules I want you to know for today. So let's put it on Skype. That's the 5 rules. All right? So now let's see if you have understood this. We have a quiz. Are you ready for the quiz? Yes or yes?
Now and now.
Now ready? Let's see. We have a quiz right now, right? So to check that everyone understands. So be careful, warning. Everyone must answer the question. All right. So we start the quiz in 10 seconds. 10, 2, 1, go. Yes, let's go. It was not 10 seconds. So let's start the quiz with the first question. So I'll let you be prepared. What will be the return type? Well, the question is, do I return a string, a boolean, an integer, or the other option is this code produce an error, right? So what is your choice? What is the return, the type of return of this function? A is string, B boolean, C integer, D, this code can produce errors. So be ready and vote. So some people say A, some people say D, some people say A. All right, so just waiting for the last answers. Last answers. So what? We go step by step to explain it. So let me explain it step by step. So here you have a number. The number, we said number is integer, right? So what does it mean? It means that this is a, you have to go step by step. This is a integer. Right. Because number here, we say that number, the parameter is an integer. So we have as input, we have a parameter with integer. So this one will be also integer. But then you convert your integer into a string. This is the string function. So here the string function will produce a string. Now we have a string. Right? Now you have a string. So now here, what is this? This is a string. Right? So string plus the string plus string, because we have to do string plus string. So what is the result of string plus string? Is string plus a string is a string, right? So my return is a string. because the result of this expression is a string. So you get an integer and you produce a string. So let's see the result. What is the result of this? The correct answer of this question is A. Yes. So I want to say congratulations to Nara, right? Pali. Yes, okay. Pala, Nari, 1 point, right? I want to say strengthening 0 point, right? And okay, so let's go for the next question. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So I'll let you read the things. What will be the return type this time of this function? Let you answer. So people say C. I think everyone says C, right? So it's easy because now what we have? Yes, the correct answer is C. Because we have number 1 is integer. So the first return here will return integer. But we have a second return here, but it's also integer, right? So let me make it clear here. So the number 1 here is I will write like this. So number 1 here is an integer. Number 2 is an integer, right? So here what we have on this return point. On this return, we can say that we have an integer return because number 1 is already integer. What is the return on this case? This is also integer. So it's good because on the 2 return, we have the same kind of return, integer, integer. So I can say that this function is valid. So now let's check the next one. Can you tell me now what will be the return of this function?
It will return integer, teacher.
Integer, you think it's integer. What about the other one? D. I wait for the other one. I think we need to go step by step. You say integer, and you, Pali, you say integer. All right. Integer.
Sir, please show me your inside.
Yes. Some people say D, some people say C. Okay, let me go step by step. All right, so you say that here we have number 1, it's an integer already. Number 2 is integer also. Okay, so I need to know here we have two return. If number 1 is greater than number 2, then we return this. Right? And if we don't return this, it means you go to this line, and this one is return number 2. So the question is, what is the type here? Right? And the question number 2 is, what is the type here? Because we need to check the two return type. So what is the type here? This is number 2. Number 2 is integer, so we can say that here is integer. So now, what is the type here? Number 1 equal number 2. So number 1 equal number 2. It's not integer. It's a Boolean. Yeah, because it's true or false. So it's Boolean.
Teacher,
Yes. Yes.
you share screen or not now?
Sorry.
You share screen or not now?
Yes, I share screen right now. Yes. You can see my screen, yes or no? I think yes.
We know, teacher.
Oh, I think everyone can see my screen. Can you see my screen or not?
Yes. Yeah, see.
Yes, you see?
Teacher.
Okay, maybe can you try?
Yes, I can see.
You can try to connect, disconnect and connect. Try to. Yes. Connect. You can connect and disconnect. Yes. I can print this. Sometimes it's because of connection. So here I have my result. You can see that here the first return is not a integer return, it's a Boolean return because number 1 is equal to 20. It's a true or false things. And number 1. So here we have a problem. We have a problem because this return is a Boolean return, this return is an integer return. So it's not the same. So what's happened? What's happened is maybe we will have some mistake. Example. Here, we will have some issue because it's not good to mix Boolean and integer. So your code, the correct answer here is D. Right. Right. No, wait. Oh, I forgot. Correct answer here is correct answer. Yes, it's D. All right. Why? Because you cannot have two returns with different types. And here we have two types of return. Not good. All right. So now let's have a look on the next question. What would be the right? No, it's not this. I made a mistake. All right. Okay. So you didn't see anything, right? All right, so what will be the return type of this function? Can you tell me what will be the return type? Is it string, Boolean, integer, or this code can produce an error? All right, so let's vote. Wait, I will share my screen. And you can vote. So let's start. So you can vote. Please vote again for this question. What will be the return type for this function? So is it a string? Is it a Boolean? Is it an integer? Or you say that this code will produce an error? So everyone say C. C. Let's vote. Some people say D. A little bit of D and C. All right. Okay. So I think the best is to try, right? So I will get my code here and I will execute my code on my. So I will start with I call my function with the number 11. And of course, I will print my result. All right. All right. So let's execute my function. So I will execute step by step. So when I execute step by step, I will call my function with number 11. So I go into. So what is number 1 is the value of number 1 is 11. So 11 greater than 10, true or false, it's true, right? So I will go to my return, all right? So I go here, I go to number 1. I return number 1. So what's happened when I come back to my function? My value here, my function of 11, the result is 11, all right? So 11 plus 4, it's 15. So I will have 15 and I print 15. All right? So this is okay. But now what's happened if I have, for example, the number 9? All right, let's execute again with number 9. So let's do it again. So I will go to my function with the value number 9. So number 9 greater than 10, true or false? It's false. 9 is not greater than 10. So I will not go to my return. So what I do, if I do not go to return, I go to my next step, number 4, but there is nothing. So if there is nothing, I finish my function, but I return nothing. So here, you can see that my function, I call my function, but I return nothing. So what is nothing? What will be the result of nothing plus 4, right? How can I compute nothing plus 4? Let's see what's happened if I execute this line. Nothing, as I remember, I will tell you here, my function of 9 will return none. None means nothing, right? I have no result here, right? No result. So what is the result of nothing plus 4? You cannot do it. You cannot do a nothing plus 4 because nothing is nothing. Nothing is not a number. Nothing is not a string. It's nothing. So you have an exception, all right? Because you cannot add non-type with integer. You cannot add an integer with a none, with a nothing, right? So this is why you get this exception, right? So what is the result here? Is right now the result is you have errors, right? You have errors because you cannot mix. Right. So if I come back, so the result of this quiz was D, right? So I will explain it again with my slide here. You remember that this is an integer, right? Here you can say that this return is a integer, but here we have another return here, right? It's an invisible return. But this return is a none. None, right? And I tell you that none is nothing, right? Nothing. All right. So here you have an integer, you have a none, right? If your number, I say again, if your number is more than 10, you go to this, right? If your number is not more than 10, you go to here. But here you return nothing because you didn't say anything, so you return nothing. So here you have sometimes nothing and sometimes integer. So this is not good because you mix two things and you always have to return something. So this code was not good. Did you understand what is return nothing? You understand the nothing? So return nothing is when you return nothing, right? If you just go at the end of your function without return keyword, it will return nothing, just nothing. Right. So this is right. So be careful. How to correct this? Maybe I need here to say if number is greater than 10, I will return number 1. Else, I don't know what is my function, but maybe I will return maybe -1. Okay? And now, if I execute my code again, it will work. I always return a number. So this code now is good. I will test it. And my return here will be 3 because 3 plus, I will have -1 here plus 4. I do it again step by step to explain you. So I will have my, I just add a breakpoint here and I execute step by step. My function of 9. So I go into my function. Number 9, because here is number 9. Number 9 greater than 10, true or false? False. So I go to -1. So I have -1. So the result of my function of 9 is, I write it again, my function of 1 is -1. So -1 plus 4 equal 3, print 3. All right? So be careful. Here, this is a good function because, again, if I put this one here, if I put this is not the same right now, right? I will, all right. I will take this, my function. So here, on this case, I have integer, and here I have integer, right? So on this case, it's good. This is good because I have 2 integer on my return 1 and my return 2. It's 2 integer. So you can see that you be careful about the function return time. Next question is this one. Can you tell me what this code will print? I let you think about this one. Wait, I copy this to this. Next question. Let's start. So what this code will print on console? What we will see on the console? If I execute this code, what happened? I will print 9, I will print 99, I will print 10, or this code has an error. So let's check. You say BBB, D, BBB, BB, BBD, BB, Everyone say B. Okay. So I think the best is to try. I will try this code. All right. So I will execute this code. Okay, of course there is an issue, but it's just a warning. They say unreachable. Why you have to return, right? So if you return here, it's finished. You will never be able to go here. But I want to be sure, so I will execute my code. So I execute this step by step. I go to my print. All right, I go to the print. So I go inside my function with the value number 9. So I go inside. So my number 1 is 9. But here I will return. So if I return, remember, if I return, I quit my function. Bye-bye function. So I will never be here, right? So my return here will be 99. So the answer is 99. So the correct answer for this question is 99. I think almost everyone was good, right? Almost everyone was good. 1 point for everyone. One point for everyone except Nara. All right, we almost done, I think. But we still have to see something. So now it's a new question. You can start and try to see the answer. What will be the return of this function? I will copy this as well here. Let's start new quiz. Again, I let you think. So A, B, C, D. C. So integer. Of course, here I will not go in details, but here we have a string. But we convert the string to here we get the number of characters, right? So how many? Okay, we don't know, but here it's gonna be integer is number of car is an integer. So here I return an integer, and here I return an integer because integer plus integer is integer. So integer, I return always integer. So correct answer is integer. Good. Everyone was good on this one? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Everyone, 1 point. Right. All right, so next step on these steps is what will be the result of this function, what you will print on the console. Same exercise here. I don't know why I put this. Oh yeah. So what I will see if I execute this code with ready, what I will see on the console? I will see ready, I will see 4, 5, or I will have an error. That's my question. ABC, also the answer, right? I know. I wanted to check. Okay, so anyway, it's easy, so I will not, I think we don't need to go. I will just execute it for you on VS Code to check the answer. Okay, so I think the best here is to try. So what I want to try is, I want to try step by step. So I will add a breakpoint and go step by step. So here I'm starting my code and I go to my function with the value ready. So I go inside. What is the value? Is ready. Ready is a string. So I go to the next step. What is number car is 4. Why? Because ready has 4 characters. Its number car is greater than 10. No. So I go to the next one. I return number car 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. So the result here is 5. So anyway, you can see that even if I put more here, I will always have an integer. And so the result here and the correct answer is C4, 5. All right. So correct answer is 5. Now let's have a look at this one. I want to ask you what will be the result of this code. Ready, 4, 5, or this code will produce errors. So you can try to think about this one. Let me copy it in the Skype. Next question. What will be the result here? So what is the difference? The difference is this time I just decide to move my code here. I decide to move it here, right? Down. I put my function definition after my code, just to try. So the question is, what's happened if I have my definition after my code? Is it the same? Is it different? So you say DDD. So let's have a look. If I execute, I will run my program. Oh, you can see that I have errors. What is the errors? They say name errors. My function is not defined. Right. This is what they say. Yes, it's not defined because when the program starts, it's looking for my function, but my function does not exist yet because your function, you define it after, right? So you need to define before, right? And now your program knows your function. So because the program knows the function before, the program can know what is function and it can code, right? Because your program always starts by reading everything, right? Step by step. So if you define after your function, the program does not know yet what is this because it's not already read. Okay, so the answer is the code will produce errors. All right, so now we have almost finished. What is, oh, this one is a little bit more difficult. I let you think about this one. Now we call many times many functions. Let's see if you can see this. It's the last question. So here you have two functions. You have one function, one more one, that return the number plus 1. All right? And you have a second function I define multiply by 2 will, and the function will return number, your number, the number here, multiply by 2. And then what I do result. I call one more of multiply by 2 of one more of 2. All right, so you have to understand that you have to start with this, right? You have to compute this first. Then you have to compute this. Then you have to compute this. Then you have to compute this. You go step by step, right? Step by step. See, so I let the people find the answer. For me, I would just start to go step by step. So what I would do is I would first need to compute this, right? I want to compute this first. Then I want to compute this. All right. Then I will compute this. And then I will compute this. I will step by step. So what is the result of 1 more 2? So I call 1 more with 2. So 2 plus 1 equal 3. So here I will have 3. So I have 3 here. So now 1 more of 3. I call 1 more with 3. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So here I have 4. All right. So now I have multiplied by 2. Multiply by 2 of, we say, 4. So multiply by 2, I call multiply by 2. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. So I will have 8 here. And then I have 1 more of 8. So I will call 1 more with 8. So I have 8 plus 1 equal 9. So the result is 9. So at the end, I will have 9. So if you check here, the result is, answer is 9. All right. So you can see that you have to go step by step. Don't forget to, if you go step by step, it's easy to compute, right? All right, clear, not clear? So that's very important to understand function right now. And this is almost done. Clear, not clear, clear? Can ask question. Do you have any question? Do you have any question on this? Like any things that you don't know, which is not clear?
I'm not clear, teacher.
You're not clear about what?
Yes, I'm not clear about it, sir.
You are not clear about return? No. Result? Or the result? Okay, the result. Okay. Okay, let's do it another way, right? Wait. We do it on using my. I will use my. So what I would do is I will explain you step by step. So I will call this. Right. So let's execute step by step. So I start with this. Right. What I would do first, I will call 1 more with number 2 because this is when you have this, you will execute first this, and then this, and then this, and then this, right? You need to execute. You execute first the you execute first the things at the end, and then you go back. This is how you execute. So here, let me go to the function one more with number 2, right? So number 2 plus 1 is 3. So I will have 3. So what's happened then? I will call here, we know that it's 3, but I will call one more again with number 3, because 3 is the result of this. So I'll call one more. So I go to one more with number 3. 3 plus 1 equal 4. So all of this equal 4. I exit my function. So I know that this is 4. So I will go to multiply by 2 now with value 4. So I go here, and the value is 4. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. So all of this will be equal to 8. Okay, and now I will call this function with the result of this. The result of this is 8. So if I call it, it's going to be 8, right? 8 plus 1 is 9. So the result at the end of all of this is 9. So at the result, I will have 9. I print 9. Is it more clear? More clear? Okay. Last step is I want to show you why do we need function? Why we are using function? Because we are using function because sometimes you have to do many times the same thing. So this is why we put in the function. Let me give you an example. Look at this code. Good morning, Ronan. I print good morning, Ronan, and then good night, sweet dream, and bye-bye. Then I print good morning, Sarah, and then sweet dream, and bye-bye. Same for Hugo. Good night, sweet dream, bye-bye. Same for Sivni. Do you know Sivni? Oh, it's a new teacher. Good morning, Sivni. Good night, sweet dream, bye-bye. So you can see that here we are always doing same things, but the only difference between the code, between this code, this code, this code, this code is the same, except the name, right? So instead of this, right, instead of having this, you can do another code, which is more clear. You will define here, for example, I can create a function, my function get text or get welcome, get good night, or get hello, like you want. Get hello. So get hello is right. You have get hello here, and I will call get hello. So I define a function get hello. Right. I will do the same. I will print. I will say my return here is good morning and my name. So Ronan, Seha, hello, Sydney. Plus this. Then I go break line. Good night, sweet dream. Break the line. Goodbye. Break the line. And I return my text. Right. Let me show you here. What's happened if I execute this code? I will copy this code into my I think it's okay. Oh, need to change. This was not very good. All right. Bye bye. And now it's better. All right. Sometimes it's because I copy paste. Wait. Maybe it would be better like this. All right. So, okay. So I will just breakpoint here. I will execute. So now I go to hello. I go to hello with my first name is Ronan, right? So I will just say, I will create a new variable text with good morning. So right, I will just remove all. I will create, what is the value of text right now? So the value of text for now is nothing. Let me say, so the value of text right now, it's good morning, Ronan. Ronan, right? With a break line. So then I add to this line, I add good night and sweet dream. So now it's good morning, Ronan, good night and sweet dream. And then goodbye. So my value here is good morning, Ronan, break the line, good night, sweet dream, goodbye. So I exit my loop, I exit my definition of string, and I print I return the text. Text is a string, right? So now I have good morning, Ronan, good night, sweet dream, goodbye. I will do the same for Sarah. Again, I go to my loop, I create my text, I have my text, I return my text, and now here I have Sarah as well. I will print Sarah. So I will do the same for Hugo, and I print Hugo. I will do the same for Sydney, and I print Sydney. All right, so you can see that here I do the same program than here. So here and here is the same. But here I don't have to put all the time good night, sweet dream, good rest dream. I do only one, and then I print and I call my function many times. So they can see that this is a better way because it's more clear. And if you want to see something, if you want to change something, it's easier to change. Easy to change here. Easier to understand, easier to change. So is it clear? Is it clear? Do you have questions? So of course you can also I say bye-bye to the recording, right? Because you can listen again and watch again the video. So bye-bye video.